talk dirty to me.
This is Lily Koo with Rainbow Social. We're on the red carpet with Dawn Hershey, and we want to know, what is it like to play a trans role in God Made Man while also being gender fluid?
Well, what's great about this role is I actually hadn't come out as gender fluid whenever I did this movie, and I was making my transition moving from Texas to LA, and so, you know, there's a lot of closed-minded individuals in Texas, and when you don't have that bubble popped, you know, your tribe is small, so you don't see a lot of things on the outside. You know, there's blinders of what you grew up with, and so when I moved out to LA, you know, I really got to exercise my fluidity, and you know, I wasn't afraid to say, wow, I feel like a man today, you know, because I felt that way my entire life since I was probably about 4 years old. But really being able to harness that trans role, it was a coming out for me, actually, Lily, and you know, that's why it's so important for this to be seen, because there are so many other individuals out there that are young, that are going to watch this and be like, wow, okay, there's nothing wrong with me, first off, and you know, it'll hopefully give them a little courage and steam to keep going. And you know, it's going to cover suicide prevention and trans rights, and you know, prostitution, corruption in the judicial system, and not just to be able to play this role, but a lot of people are going to be able to come out. A lot of people are going to be able to see it and just be able to relate. You know, we don't do that enough, and God Made Man is definitely one of those movies. It's going to make you relate to your best friend, to your dad, to your neighbor that you had no idea was trans. You know, it's going to bridge the gap. So I'm honored, honestly.
It sounds like you found your tribe.
I did, and but you know, my tribe is forever evolving, and you know, as am I. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you for using your platform in God Made Man.
Yeah, no, thank you for letting me be here and talk about God Made Man.
I noticed your hips are shrinking, and your voice seems deeper too.
Oh yeah? What do you think about that?
You look very handsome.
You were recently in Madonna's new music video, God Control, where they touched on gun control. What are your thoughts on gun control?
Goodness gracious, obviously it's getting out of hand, and it you know, there are so many casualties, and as we speak, you know, someone has probably fallen to a gun, and I've had a lot of pain in my past and growing up. It's a subject that needs to be talked about more. There needs to be more gun control. And you know, again, I'm from Texas, so everyone that I know in my family carries, and you know, I believe in having our own sense and source of protecting our own and our rights, but something needs to change. Definitely needs to change fast.
Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay. I mean, I grew up with a gun rack on the back of our truck. You know,
I can
so
imagine in Texas.
Of course, you know, and it was just it was the thing to have and the thing to do, you know, so it didn't seem wrong to me until I really grew up and I lost someone very close, you know, and that wasn't even the shaker until I really understanding mass shootings and school shootings and understanding why these kids are doing these things and having access to guns so easily. It's mind-blowing to me.
So what is it like in Texas with guns everywhere?
Well, I mean, honestly, it doesn't bother me, but, you know, you look and you see someone is strapped on their hip and you're in a restaurant or you're not in a restaurant or you're out at a public place. I mean, it's always around you, you know. So people are very comfortable with it, but, you know, there always needs to be awareness raised on so many levels. Yeah.
What do you think could be done to help with gun control?
Oh, goodness gracious. First of all, just having that one-on-one talk with your kids or your parents, your cousins, whoever, immediate family, just, you know, safety of, hey, this is what you don't do. If I have something in the house, this is to protect us. You know, it's communication. And I feel like communication is key in everything that we do. So
Definitely. I 100% agree. What can we expect from your new involvement with Harley-Davidson?
Oh, goodness gracious. I can't say too much, but I just did a really big worldwide commercial for Harley-Davidson, and Harley likes to keep it in the family. So all my stars and hopes and dreams will continue to ride for the Harley-Davidson family, and be on the lookout for this commercial. It is wicked awesome.
So how long have you been riding motorcycles?
Since I could prop up a motorcycle on the side of the farmhouse or my dad's house and get it kick-started. So I'd say about 5 years old. I ride motocross. I ride, I'm a precision driver, you name it. If it has 2 wheels, if it has a wheel, motorized, get me on it. Yeah.
So where did you grow up exactly? What was it like where you grew up?
Well, I grew up in Abilene, and it was, predominantly we grew a lot of time on the farm, and it was just our own world. There was no harm, there was no other than skin in your knees or potentially getting bit by a snake. Like it was an absolute dream. I got to plant. I got to know my grandma for an actual Hershey. I got to learn how to make chocolates at an early age, and it wasn't until my parents got divorced and the real world set in, and it was difficult growing up not being able to express how queer I was. And so I grew up angry, upset, thinking that there was something wrong with me, thinking that I was going to burn in hell every single day, because it very Southern Baptist, and all my family throw the Bible at you in a second, so it was rough. But I definitely have my roots, and I have my Southern hospitality and my Southern flair, and I wouldn't change it for a second. I wouldn't.
So it sounds like it shaped you for who you are.
It definitely.
It taught you a lot of things.
Yeah.
For good.
For the best.
And you've taken the bad things and you've learned from them.
Yeah, we're definitely, I'm learning how to harness that and take the pain and heal from it and put it to good. Just like I have a feature film, co-directing, co-writing. It's my story, but I teamed up with a friend of mine, Andy R. Christensen, and we're going to be shooting a full feature film this November in Texas about a story of my queerhood.
So it's going to hit home.
Oh, it hits home. It hits so home. Executive producing and starring in it. So it's like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah, we've been going hardcore on it for the last month and a half, almost 2, and it's going to be one of those boys don't cry kind of digs.
So we're really going to learn a lot about your life. What's the name of it again?
Hi Pretty.
Hi Pretty.
Yeah, Hi Pretty Film. Hi Pretty Film.
Thank you. Well, thank you for everything you're doing for our community.
No, and thank you too, because obviously you're giving me a platform and a way for me to share my story. I love it. You've been such a great person to work with since I moved out here, and I enjoy it. So, thanks for having me back.
Talk dirty to me.